guys? Shekinah Tebby here, aka Shay, and you are watching episode 10. Episode 10. Oh my gosh, it's episode 10. We've come so far. This is a mile marker. We gotta celebrate somehow. It's so cold. These mango mochi ice cream balls, they really hit the spot. Cheers. Welcome back to the Creative Quest, guys, where we talk about all things creativity, the philosophy of creativity, specifically revolving around music and building a music career. And we just finished wrapping up a mini-series on songwriting, and that's not the only time we're going to be talking about songwriting. We'll be talking about songwriting all throughout the life of this channel. It's one of my favorite topics, and it's a central topic to what we talk about when it comes to creativity and music. But I've got another topic coming down the assembly line, but before we get to that topic, I kind of wanted to do a more personal episode. So about a week and a half ago, I went on vacation back to the state of Oregon, where I'm from. I was raised in the Portland area, raised in a little town called Hillsboro. It's not a little town anymore, but the Pacific Northwest is one of my favorite places on earth, and I love to go back and visit my family. So I spent some time with some friends I haven't seen in a while, hiked up a mountain, spent some time with my dad, went hiking with him again, and we took a road trip to Boise, Idaho, where I visited my brother and his family, my two nephews, and my niece. All of them, by the way, are learning instruments, so it was really exciting to get to share music with them and inspire them and be inspired by them. So on this trip, I actually took my laptop with me. I was planning on uploading a video during that week that I was there. However, I have a dinosaur for a computer. It is now considered a vintage product. It is an Apple MacBook Pro, one of the old 2014 MacBooks. It cannot handle a lot of the things I try to do on it. It's made it hard to be really consistent with the material that I'm trying to put out. And so I thought, you know, I'll have lots of time. I can do it while I'm on vacation and upload a video. With how much extra time it takes to make these videos because of the limited technology that I have at the moment, it just didn't happen. And so I kind of took that as a message that I was not supposed to upload, and I was just supposed to enjoy myself on my vacation and not worry about music and not worry about making videos and just be where I was, be in the present. When I got back from vacation, I had a really rough week. I just was feeling really unmotivated. My body wasn't feeling well. I was just going through a rough patch, and I had a lot of anxiety, and I was just feeling sluggish. And it was really hard for me to even get like the basic things done that I needed to get done, let alone, you know, work on music or produce content. It was just kind of a struggle. I've just been in a slump the past, you know, week and a half or so, which actually brings up kind of what I wanted to talk about in this video, and that's the topic of rest. Rest is not something that we do well as a culture. My husband told me, you just need to take a nap. Just go take a nap. And I was like, no, so many projects that we're doing right now that could be worked on. You know, I need to make video content. Like, I have all these ideas for songs that I could be working on. And he was like, no, just go take a nap. Like, your body and your mind needs it, so go take a nap. So I took a nap. I actually did that like 2 days in a row. And I couldn't tell you how much I actually really needed that. Where my body was at that time just needed a minute to breathe. So this got me thinking about rest and how our culture doesn't do rest well. And rest isn't just vegging on the couch watching Netflix. Rest isn't just sitting there doing nothing for the sake of doing nothing. Rest is a state of being and a state of mind. And we do not do that well as a culture at all. Like in America, we're all about productivity and we're all about profit. So productivity, how much can we produce? How fast can we produce it? And how much money can we make producing it when we put it out there? And so what we've done in our society is we've created this society where we have forgotten how to rest, and rest is an important ingredient to the creative process. Without these periods of rest, our imagination can't inhale. Our creative engine in our minds can't breathe. And so how can you expect it to exhale when it can't inhale? So this go, don't sleep kind of society that we have nowadays has a lot to do with why we're so anxious, why we're so restless. So now we have this ability to showcase and broadcast all of these products in their finished form, and nobody is seeing what goes behind it anymore. So like our social platforms are filled with all this flashy finished product kind of stuff. Even when it comes to our personal lives, we're putting up the best photographs, we're putting up the best best videos. I mean, I do this. I'm no different than anyone else. We're putting up the highlights, and what we do is we mistake the highlight reel for real life. And we forget that we're all human beings and that there's this process behind all of it, that there's all this work, that there's a human being, there's a mind, there's an imagination, and there's a body behind that creation. And so we compare our process to somebody else's finished product. And that brings on all of this anxiety and all of this like self-judgment and criticism that's really, really unhealthy. We beat ourselves up. We're saying, look at this person, like they're doing all this great stuff and they've got all these projects. And what am I doing? I gotta get to work. I gotta get to work. And so we actually put on anxiety. We put on comparison. I'm not saying that these digital tools are a bad thing. These digital tools have opened up a lot of opportunities for people to have a better life, for people to be able to work from home, spend more time with their families, work from anywhere, for people to build a life on their creative passions in a way that you couldn't do before. So with this, there's a temptation to fall into this mindset of assuming that the product is equivalent to the process. Nobody's sharing their process. Nobody is putting it out there as much as people are putting out the finished product. So we have this false idea of what work and creativity and life really looks like. We have this false idea of what it really takes to do something meaningful, to put something out there in the world that is valuable. It takes time and a lot of work, and part of that process involves periods of rest. And speaking of what's real, I think I had powder on my shirt from that mochi ball earlier throughout that whole last like however long it's been in this video. Anyways, all that to say, we don't do rest well. We've forgotten what it is. It's not just vegging. It's not just taking a nap. It's not any one of these things. It's a mindset. It's a state of being. There's a philosopher named Joseph Piper who actually states it really, really well in this book called Leisure, the Basis of Culture. Yep, I always have some sort of book or some sort of philosopher that I'm quoting. I learn a lot from books, okay? So he sums it up really, really well. I just wanted to read an excerpt of this for you guys. So Joseph Piper talks about leisure. He doesn't really say rest. I think this still ties in perfectly to what we're talking about. Compared with the exclusive ideal of work as activity, leisure implies, in the first place, an attitude of non-activity, of inward calm, of silence. It means not being busy, but letting things happen. Leisure is a form of silence, of that silence which is the prerequisite of the apprehension of reality. Only the silent hear, and those who do not remain silent do not hear. I think that's probably my favorite quote in the whole paragraph. Silence, as it is used in this context, does not mean dumbness or noiselessness. It means more nearly that the soul's power to answer to the reality of the world is left undisturbed. For leisure is a receptive attitude of mind, a contemplative attitude, and it is not only the occasion but also the capacity for steeping oneself in the whole of creation. I want to skip ahead. Leisure is not the attitude of mind of those who actively intervene, but of those who are open to everything, not of those who grab and grab hold, but of those who leave the reins loose, and who are free and easy themselves, almost like a man falling asleep, for one can only fall asleep by letting oneself go. So that sums it up pretty well and ties in kind of what I mentioned earlier. Our imagination is a creative muscle. It needs time to rest in order to build back up stronger. It needs time to inhale so it can exhale. And if we're not allowing ourselves to inhale as creative people, we're not going to exhale anything good. We're not going to exhale at all. We're going to choke ourselves to death. And we're not going to get anywhere because we're going to be dead on the floor. And sometimes I feel like we find ourselves in that place over and over again, dead on the floor because we are not allowing ourselves a chance to breathe. And so in this way, rest is actually productive. This is kind of an oxymoron, and I'm really struggling to switch my brain into this mindset that when I am taking time to rest, going into that state of mind and that state of being, like Joseph Piper mentioned, I'm not being unproductive. I'm actually being productive because this is required for me to move forward. You know, it's like working out. You know, you can't just lift muscles and sprint and do all that in one day, every day, because your body will collapse. No, you've got to work one group of muscles and allow that to rest, and then work another group of muscles and allow that to rest. And some days you just need to not do anything and let your body recover, recuperate. And while you're resting, you're feeding yourself the right food, the right things to help your body rebuild. So in those moments of rest for your imagination, you need to find something else outside of the craft itself to feed your imagination, to inspire you and to revive it. And that's what I did, this past week when I went to Oregon, is I engaged myself in some other activities that I love that feed and inspire my imagination that really have nothing to do with music. And, in those moments, I felt revived, I felt refreshed, I felt inspired. So my question to you guys is, what are some of those other activities that you enjoy doing that feed your soul, that feed your imagination, that are outside of your primary craft, that inspire you? I'd love to hear some of those things in the comments below. If there's anything else in this video that struck a chord with you, you can put it in the comments below. So if you like this video, if you're liking the content that we're putting out on the channel so far, go ahead and hit that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. So next week, we're going to be jumping into the topic of inspiration. This is a perfect segue into that topic, and we'll see you guys next time right here on The Creative Quest.